Hello, everybody. It is 3:16 p.m. Central Time on the 28th of January 2019. It is Monday here in the United States, going into Tuesday already internationally. And again, let me welcome you in. Guys, I did not get on last night. I got a multi-day job that I've been doing and got to get up early and go to bed early, which precludes me from doing any kind of updates at 10 p.m. or any other time. I just got back, so got to get it all out of the way before it gets sub-zero here. Going to get down to -2 Fahrenheit or -18 to -20 Celsius. So it's going to be really, really cold here, and I don't like to work outside in real cold, so got to bang it out before we get the cold, which is coming in right now, blowing in across the frozen lake already. But we're not here to talk about the weather, are we? We're here to talk about seismic. A new earthquake just has struck. You see it there marked in green in Colombia. And look where it is. It's in between our current sets of quakes. You know what? That's a good place to start. Let me turn on a display capture, and we'll just jump over here. So we're looking at the East Pacific over in Colombia. A new 5.2 coming right in the middle of a giant open area that didn't have any earthquakes for 2 to 3 days. We have to go back 3 days to get our last set of quakes here. So this spot was open. It was a giant open silent zone. And in between, we have a whole cluster of 4s up here and 3s. If you take all the 4s and 3s and add them together, equals about a 5.0 total energy expended to the north. And down to the south, look what we had. We had a 5.3 in a cluster of 4s. So here's our 5.3. There it is. And they've just upgraded the earthquake to a 5.4. Well, I'm not surprised, because we have a 5.3 worth of energy down here to the south. And up to the north, I told you, all these 4s add together to a single 5. Guess what? If you take a 5.3 plus a 5.0, guess what it equals? 5.4. So 5.4 in the middle at the fulcrum point in between our two zones, where there's a 5.3 to the south and a 5 worth of energy to the north. The combined total strikes in the middle fulcrum point, and look where it is. It's on the backside, perfect middle of our red arrow. Red arrow goes over to the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, which is where we watch over the next couple days. But it goes, actually, there's two directions this can take. It could go directly across and strike out next to Ascension Island at the middle of the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, or it can go up and around the forescan, go up into Venezuela and the Eastern Caribbean, maybe even in between the two. So the middle point between the East Caribbean and the earthquake would be right here. So we can see areas strike in between our zones as the force travels across areas. That's just where we're starting. Now, last night was the 5.3 down here on the coast of Chile, and multiple 4s going all the way up into South Peru. In Peru, look at this. You know, 4 coming in right next to Sabancaya. Seems to be happening over and over again. Earthquakes striking next to Sabancaya volcano, which keeps erupting over and over again. Same with down to the south where this 5 is. Let's get all the 4s out of there. Right next to here is Planchon Petroa, which keeps erupting over and over again. Before we get into the United States, let's jump over to the West Pacific and take a look. Multiple deep earthquakes. As I described this the other day, a new deep earthquake event is taking place. And we already talked about the deep 6s that occurred, the deep 6.2s, 2 of them. 2 deep 6.2s, and then all these other deep earthquakes. Now, this 5.5 just popped off when? UTC time, 1600 UTC. So just a few hours ago, that deep 5.5 down at 600 kilometers deep in its own right. That's extremely deep. There's something going on down below the plate right now with multiple new deep quakes. Now look at this. Spreading out from where our deep earthquakes have happened, look at the line of earthquakes spreading here to Indonesia, branching to the north, going towards Japan, and making a U-shaped bend going right up into Myanmar at the India border. So you see the earthquakes, right? You see how it's making a bend around? Well, guys, look at our middle points. Each of our earthquakes overlap in a perfect way, and in between our quakes, right here, for instance, Barren Island started to erupt. And down here where our two sets of quakes overlap, this is Kerinci volcano. And here where our two sets of rings overlap, this is on Mount Agung in Bali. Here where our rings overlap, we have Dukono volcano. It's no coincidence. The rings overlap. The middle fulcrum points are our volcanoes. So a line of earthquakes spreading, following our arrows perfectly. Here I can turn down the rings or even turn them off. you'll still see it's following perfectly like a road, going up, around, and over. Now, I tried to show this to professionals. They said it was just chance and coincidence. Then they said I was a hacker. I was hacking earthquakes. Yeah, okay. Let's go on across over into China and Russia. What's going on in China and Russia? Well, there's no earthquakes reported out of China or Russia in the past 2 days. The last earthquake was up in Siberia. So no earthquakes across a continent, or 2 continents, or 1.5 continents. No earthquakes, right? Yeah, I don't want to get into this, but I'm going to show it to you anyways. I have to tell you, and you can go look for yourself. Go over to the European Agency, look on the back-end seismologist study page, scroll down the feed, look for NNC, which is the Kazakhstani agency, by proxy reporting out of China. And what you'll find is that there's 3s and 4s and 5s and sometimes even 6s, which are striking across China and Russia that are not making it to the feeds. Now, these so far are all in the 3 range, and that's okay. That's fine. If they are not reporting 3s, we don't fault the USGS or Europeans for taking the time to report 3s. That's okay. But you start finding 4s and 5s, that gets troubling. And we find enough of them that I have to check on a daily basis. So these are all in the 3 range so far. That's good. This is the first time I'm checking today. Again, I've been working all day. Well, here's one right here, 4.1. So let's get the coordinates. Coordinates, put them in. 4.1, China. USGS, nada. Once again, look where we are. Look at this. Do you see this giant oval shape? Here. Right down here. Now, they have an earthquake over in Kazakhstan, 4.4 from a day ago. But today, nothing. And that's just the first. Now, am I going to take the time to go through all of them and find them? No, I'll tell you when I did it before, I did this for weeks, if not months, going through and looking up every single different event that's not being reported to the public. And all I'll tell you is that it makes a line going from here, back across Siberia, back across eastern China, but mainly across Russia, back up to our letter D here, where we get deep earthquakes. Up here in the Sea of Okhotsk, or Okhotsk. Okay, over into Europe we go. So we've got 4s coming out of China. Why does it matter? Why does it matter if there's 4s and 5s striking across Russia and China? Because it adds up, pools up, comes together, and goes over into Europe, traveling through the Mideast and across the Black Sea and Caspian Sea. This is the Caspian Sea. This is the Black Sea. This is Turkey. This is Iran. And the plate boundaries here converge all into one point. I can show it to you on satellite imagery. Let me turn off, first of all, get your bearings here. Here's Iran. Here's India. Over here is Europe, of course. Here's Italy all the way up in the upper left-hand corner. And this is Turkey. So let's turn off our borders and labels now. Let me turn off the volcanoes too. Okay. You'll see the plate boundaries, even at this level. But you see it comes out of the Himalayas. Then it makes a break, like a river, and goes around, like this is a giant rock in a river. This is going around, and then it comes back together over here. Now, the USGS only has one plate boundary marked going down across the south part of this. And you go over to my map, and I've got a northern plate boundary here marked with the arrows. This is the way their earthquakes flow across the plate. So the earthquakes are dropped off along the way as this seismic pressure flows across the plate, I guess is a better way to put it. The force flows across the plate, and then the earthquakes are precipitated or dropped off along the way, all the way over to Europe, where it then hits in Europe, here, and the backwards S-shaped bend of the Eastern European craton aids in the force going across. Again, like a road system almost. And look where our earthquake struck. We got a new 3.1 here over in eastern Romania. Same sized earthquake struck right here at the Serbia-Bosnia border, north of Albania. And down to the south, 4s striking across the Aegean perimeter with nothing in the middle of the Aegean Sea, instead all the way around it, a series of 4s, mid-range 4s. Then an equal distance spacing of earthquakes going from South Italy to Central Italy, up to North Italy, and then making a bend into South France. Well, you see it, right? Makes a bend like this. This is what we told you to watch for. Next step is down here at the Straits of Gibraltar, south of Portugal and Spain. But right now, it's making its way up and out of Italy and going to go back down across the edge of the craton, the outer edge. Also, UK. I mean, this gets a little bit more rare. A small earthquake being reported in the eastern UK, isn't it? Right? 26 kilometer depth, 2.2. You know, this gets a little interesting because I'd like to go over and check it out, see if there's anything nearby. You know, this reminds me of that time there was the earthquake in the UK, and I went and looked it up and found the fracking operation there. That was really interesting, wasn't it? I wonder if we're going to go back to something like that. Okay, well, you know, of course, if we look around and we see anything, we, of course, make note of it. But I don't see anything here right at the location. We need to consult something. Let's go over and check Frack Off. Now, we know where they stand on the whole point of drilling, but Frack Off, UK. Here it is. Let's see if it still works. Frack Off. I guess they're against the whole thing? Can't quite tell where they stand on this. All right, what's happening in your region? Featured resources. Do we have a map? I thought they had a map. Where is it happening? Click on the map. How do we use this thing? Go full screen? No, we can just use control plus... Wait, what is this? Control and scroll? Control and scroll, all right. Well, where is the earthquake? It's on the eastern shores. And what's our nearest town? Let's turn on our borders and labels. Grimsby is up to the north. Spilsby is over to the east. Horncastle and Lincoln. All right. Well, anything else closer? Ragby, Bardney, Minting, West Ashby, and Horncastle. It's right to the west of Horncastle. All right. Well, again, one more time, bearings, eastern UK, right along the coast. Back to Frack Off. Eastern UK, right along the coast, right? That's the same spot, isn't it? Sure is. Sure is. All right, let's zoom in. Oh, boy. Well, guys, there's Grimsby. We have going on here. License PEDL 181. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Advanced. Bad certificate, huh? We'll add an exception. Why not? Go ahead, screw it. Oh, they moved it. Of course. Ah, boy. Well, it's not going to make it easy to find out the information. Europa Oil and Gas PLC, whoever they are. That's the nearest one that I can see. That's, again, just south. Now, what's this? PEDL 253. I guess I can look this up on Google. 253, UK oil gas. All right. Wow. What was it called again? Oh, what a cluster. Okay. Oh, let me paste this up here. 253. PEDL 253. I gotta memorize this stuff. There it is. PEDL 253. Egdon Resources UK Limited. Oil and gas. Has you got any information on this? Well, obviously they're doing something here. It's just a matter of what. So when you got oil and gas in the location, and it can lead to drilling, and then you get earthquakes nearby. Here, let me go ahead and close that out since it's not secure. You get earthquakes there. I have to say that the drill points are going to lead to be weak points, and those weak points are going to be sought out by the force as it travels across the plate. Now, this leads me out to the Azores, which got hit as expected. We talked about watching the Azores as well, and it's a swarm, it's an outbreak. But all these threes add up to about one single four. So it's about one single four's worth of energy reaching out towards the Azores, up to the north, 3.2, up at Iceland. This takes me back all the way to the West Pacific, where our energy comes hammering up on the underside of the plate. And as I talk about on a regular basis, it spreads out and over and away over into Asia, and it spreads up and out and towards Japan. Well, you're going to notice something missing here in the past day and a half. Obviously, we don't have any earthquakes across all of Japan, the Kuril Islands, which are here, Kamchatka, Russia, or the Aleutians, going over into Alaska. So all of this is open with no earthquake activity. I would like to go quickly check the Volcanic Ash Advisory Center because Sakurajima's been putting off some ash, I know that, but I don't know if it's enough to make the Volcanic Ash Advisory Center. Let's go see. Okay, well, Turrialba in Costa Rica is going again after Rincon de la Vieja a day ago, but look, Shiveluch, new 20,000 foot high blast up in Kamchatka. Sabancaya going in Peru, Reventador in Ecuador, Planchon Peteroa in Chile. I've already talked about those. Turrialba again in Costa Rica, Sabancaya, Reventador, Planchon. Dukono in Indonesia, Sabancaya, Shiveluch again, Planchon Peteroa, Nevados de Chilean. No volcanic ash emissions. What's going on here? Not identifiable from satellite. No further emissions of ash has been detected or reported. Previous puff has dissipated. Okay, so there was one earlier in the day. That's what's going on there. Keep going down the list. There it is. There's the previous puff from the volcano that went up. Wonder how high. 22,000 foot high puff. That's pretty big puff. Keep going down the list. Is there anybody else that we need to see? Here's Barren Island and Rincon de la Vieja. Those are the two that we don't normally see much at all on the list. So where are they all? We'll start up here. Mount Shiveluch is here on the Kamchatka Peninsula. Skipping over Japan entirely, Sakurajima is here. We have Sakurajima on the camera. You can see the ash fallout that keeps happening, but it's low key. There haven't been any big blasts there in at least a week. Going down to the south even further, Dukono volcano is right here, erupting daily. And further to the west, everything stopped. So all of our volcanoes, Mount Agung, Mount Krakatau, Mount Kerinci, Mount Sinabung, all of those have ceased. And that's abnormal. That is abnormal for the location. You would expect at least one of them to be going at least once every week or so. You see it stop for several days or for a week, and you see a series of earthquakes and deep earthquakes happening. You know to expect a seismic increase first, then a volcanic increase. Shortly thereafter, we see 5.0s and greater start to strike next to volcanoes after the volcanoes erupt. But again, huge open silent zone across the northwest Pacific. Japan is quiet. That's not normal for a few days' time. You would expect a few 4s and 5s. But the last earthquake was a day and a half ago. 5.5 striking here in North Japan on the coast. So it's going to get hit again. How big? We'll talk about that maybe tonight. Maybe if I get on at 10 p.m. Let's go out and take a look at Alaska and Hawaii. Hawaii saw a new 3 pop off over here at Mauna Loa. Mauna Loa 3.5. I don't want to hear anybody say that there's nothing going on. When you start seeing 3s at Mauna Loa, that should be a wake-up call to the people at the Hawaiian Volcano Observatory. And it was unwise for them to say that the eruption was done at Kilauea. Let's just put it that way. Up in Alaska, dropping off earthquakes. Dropping off. I think you're going back up. I think the whole region's going to go back up. I already talked about that a day and a half ago. Hasn't happened yet. Should happen in the next day or two. This leads me back to Central America and South America. Central America across Mexico, and we've really pulled up down in South Mexico. You can see the number of events in the last day and a half. So it's a definitive line of quakes going from Central Mexico to South Mexico, stopping at the plate boundary that transfers over to the east. So there is a plate boundary that exists here. It is the Cayman Trench, goes over into eastern Honduras, and then goes across Guatemala, and then into Mexico. But they don't have it marked on the USGS map that way. It stops right here on their map. It connects through, guys. And we've seen the transfer zone over and over again. Go back 2 years when that 7.6 earthquake struck right out here in the middle of the Cayman Trench. That's just one example. Where did that 7.6 come from? You have to go back a few months. Not even. There was the giant 8.0 earthquake that struck here first. So first an 8 hit here. Then a few months later, a 7.6 hit here. Okay? As we go into the continental United States, a line of earthquakes again across Texas from a day and a half ago and across Kansas from a day and a half ago. Two of the same sized earthquakes striking from a day ago, or on the 27th. This is at a pumping operation in Kansas and a pumping operation down in South Texas. But both operations are on the edge of the craton. And I've talked about the craton enough. I'm not going to do that now. We'll go over into the New Madrid seismic zone, where, in my neck of the woods, right next to New Madrid, Missouri, a 2.1 struck. That's leftover energy, leftover scraps off the table coming in from over here to the west and south by southwest. So we got a push. A push from the west. Came off the west coast, 4.5. We saw 3.0s break out down to the south, as well as a new 3 striking last night off the coast of LA. But there's not just anything there, guys. It's right next to northwest of Baldwin Hills. Don't forget, just a day before that, your offshore drilling platforms got hit. So that's something to pay attention to. Across California, let's go turn on our 0.0 and greater earthquake feed. I just want to see what's going on. I'm not going to look them all up. Just want to run it by you really quick and show you what's happened. So taking a look across it this way, across the edge of the craton, you're going to see a diagonal line of quakes going from Montana, going down into the park, into Yellowstone National Park. So this line of quakes signifies the northwest edge of the North American craton. Look up in Montana. Look where the craton edge goes. It goes right down through western Montana, right through the middle of Yellowstone Park, then goes down across Colorado at the Continental Divide, and keeps going down through New Mexico, makes a bend through Texas. And that's where our earthquakes strike over and over again. Then it goes over to the East Coast. By the way, how about the East Coast, guys? I mean, come on. Did you hear what happened yesterday? Maybe I should go show you. Let me show you. Hold on. Got to show you yesterday's small earthquake feed. Maybe it's still there. I think it is. Yeah, there we go. How about that? Those 2 small quakes up in New York and over down in Massachusetts. So 0.7, 0.4, both striking on the edge of the craton to the east by northeast. Don't forget Kentucky at the Ohio border, a 2.0, and today's 2.1. This is a perfect match for, one more time, look down into Texas and all the way up to the East Coast. Okay, remember it. So let's go look up this 2 really quick. I didn't get to do this yesterday since I missed my update last night. What's going on up here at Kentucky, near the Ohio border? Ohio. Weren't they doing something in Ohio a few years ago with oil and gas? I think they were. I don't know if they were doing it near this location, though. I really don't. I would have to take a lot of time to go scour the areas and try and find and see if there's any nearby drilling or pumping operations that could be, easily identified from aerial flyover. But I will tell you that here, across this area, in general, there were pumping operations. How far off are we? That's pretty far. That is pretty darn far. Several counties to the east by northeast. This is what we would look for, by the way. Now, this imagery date is as of 2015, but you can see it. The tanks, the pipelines, the drill points, condensing compressors type stations that condense that and put it into pipelines and pump it off. And you see how it looks, again, at this level. So you see the pads all over the place, and they're pretty easy to see at this height. So we would look back down to where the earthquake is and see if there's anything like that around here. I haven't done that yet. Again, I've been gone, have not been around to look. You guys can go inspect the areas, look in the counties around. I always look within 6 to 10 miles, so that's going to give you a pretty small area around here to go check. But when's our imagery date on this? 2016? Man, I hate to say it, but 2016, they may have come out here and started to do new drilling now that they've really opened this up for exploration. Not just in Ohio, but many other locations across the whole plate have been opened up for exploration, as we're the #1 energy producer on the planet at this point. More than Saudi Arabia even. We're starting to crank out. So is it there or not? It's on the edge of the craton either way. It's just, is it at a drill point or not? I can tell you the one down on the New Madrid is not. It's directly on the New Madrid seismic zone. So is it associated with the craton or is it associated with the drill point? Well, I can tell you it's probably associated with both. If there's a drill point there, it's definitely associated. And if it's on the edge of the craton gets pushed. It's a weak point. That all being said, let's turn back on our one-day feed. Look at all these earthquakes over the last week. Of course, that's somewhat normal to get that many small microquakes, but Pacific Northwest, it's not normal. No earthquakes. That to me is not normal after getting a 4. I've heard all kinds of news about Mount St. Helens. I don't know what to tell you guys. You know what? I got in trouble for reporting on Mount St. Helens. KIRO News 7. When a 3.0, 3 point something, I think it was like a 3.8 or a 3.4. This is a couple of years ago. 3 point something earthquake strikes at Mount St. Helens. It's the largest earthquake to strike at Mount St. Helens in months, okay? And I make a blog post on my website. And I said 3.4 or something at Mount St. Helens. Sign of unrest, watch out to sea for new earthquake activity. I didn't say it was going to erupt or anything. Well, imagine my shock and surprise when I found out when this was sent to me. When this shows up on ABC, is that ABC or CBS? I don't know. ABC or CBS. This shows up. An article going off on me by a person named Ashley Blow. How ironic. Ashes blow, right? A volcano. Ashley Blow wrote an article from, is that CBS? I don't know. I don't know what network they are. They're CBS, ABC, don't know. Doesn't matter. KIRO News 7. But look what they said about me. This is the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network. Said, quote, our director, which is Professor John Vidali at the time, our director, Professor John Vidali, would call Dutch Sense complete hogwash and has no shame in promoting horror notices for clickbait. Now, what are they talking about? They're talking about a website post that I said there was seismic unrest, and it was. It was the largest earthquake in God knows how long, months or more. Now, guess what? The day that the earthquake struck, the day that they made the article, they wrote this 2 days later, but the day they started to smear me, the day they were up there doing studies. Yes, they were up there the day the earthquake struck. What are the chances of that? Why were they flying over the area in a helicopter? Maybe they were doing earth-penetrating tomography? Using VLF from, I don't know, an airborne source? Could be. I mean, maybe not. Maybe they were just by chance up there flying over in a helicopter and the largest earthquake in months hits. Or regardless, they chastised me for even reporting on the 3.4 and saying it was seismic unrest. Guess what happened about a month after this? By March of 2016, a huge swarm broke out, and they had to acknowledge that it was rising. March 2016, Mount St. Helens. Let's see if it comes up. Here it is. Or no, May. Did I say March? May. So what? 3 months later. 3 months later, this. Swarms of earthquakes break out. Mount St. Helens is, listen to this article. Now this is coming from pretty much the same people up in the Pacific Northwest. Instead of CBS, it's another mainstream outlet. But Mount St. Helens is recharging its magma, resulting in swarms of earthquakes at the southwestern Washington volcano that it seen from Portland. I mean, come on. Does not indicate an eruption is imminent. Okay, in other words, it started to swarm out with earthquakes. So why does it matter if they're not reporting earthquakes from the West Coast here, or if I talk about it? Well, I got smeared by KIRO News 7 and the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network for even telling you about a 3 at the volcano. So let's go take a look at the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network's data, shall we? Let's go over here and check it out. We'll go over to the real-time tremor map from the University of Washington. 24 hours. 24 hours of tremors. Now, these are tremors. These are not earthquakes. I want you to make note of that. Tremors are small vibrations in the plate, not fractures in the plate. So an earthquake is a fracture in the plate. This would be a small vibration. Not much going on. A handful of tremors across the whole of the Northwest, across Vancouver and all of Washington, Oregon, and Northern California. A handful. Now we can see this go up into thousands of tremors. Right now it's really low. So we got a 4.5 supposedly here off the west coast. We have to wait to see what the effect of that's going to be downstream. We would expect it, the force, to transfer down to Southern California, flare up all of the points down between where the earthquake struck off the coast, 4.5 off the coast of Oregon, and Southern California, then make a way over to Texas. That hasn't happened yet. Right now, it appears to be incoming. In the last 24 hours, you can make a definitive dividing line between the coast here, where we have a diagonal line of quakes going down the creeping section of the San Andreas, which points back up to here. This is Geysers, California. Now, Geysers, California is like a pressure gauge. It lets us know how much force is incoming. Now, this is next to nothing. So something's getting ready to push in. When it does, it will split two ways. It'll go down along the coast and around over following the volcanoes and the weak points, drill points, going down the California-Nevada border, both reconverging down here in Southern California. East of LA into LA. Anza Gap, north to LA. Drill points in LA, Anza Gap on the San Jacinto Fault. We may even see the same-sized earthquake that struck up here off the coast strike down here in Southern California, going up to near 4-ish range. But ultimately, this should flare up. We should see this. This is 24 hours worth of microquakes. See how small the swarm is? Just a little stack of quakes. This should flare up and go up off the screen to where I can't even show you the number of earthquakes. Once it flares up, then force should transfer over to Texas. Strike at one of our pumping operations next to Fort Stockton or Snyder. Or maybe even as far north as Amarillo, but West Texas at the pumping operations. First things first, though, it should go down through California, flare things up at all the volcanoes to the eastern portion of California, Nevada border, and hit at our drill points, geothermal and oil, across California. None of that's happened yet. So when it happens, you'll know it. You'll see it. You'll hear it if you're listening to the ding of the bell. Okay? Well, I don't have the 0.0 and greater earthquake feed turned on, so I guess you're not going to hear the ding of the bell on the small quakes, but okay? You need to have an earthquake plan. I talk about it all the time. I try to stress it a lot. More than what I do anything else, I try to stress to everybody to have an earthquake plan. Even if you don't like me or you never heard of me before, you don't know who I am. I'm telling you now, just take the time to develop an emergency plan. You can overlap it with severe weather, floods, fires, evacuations, but you can have a few things in a bag ready to go. I think that's going to be pretty easy for you to do. Do it now while you still have the time. Should be able to get you through for the first day or two of a disaster. Should be seasonal specific, of course. And if you have any dependents, children, grandchildren, think of them too. Think of your pets. Right? And I'm not going to lecture you on it. Just do it. And you'll be way better off than the people who have not taken any time to prepare. Okay. I'm not going to lecture. I said I wasn't going to, right? You want to support my operation, you can get a Dutch Sense shirt. No pressure either way, but it's over at Teespring. Stores/Dutch Sense Official. And you can still order anything. It's still available. Appreciate everybody who's supported me over these years of doing this. Had to break back out in the world, take a few tree jobs, guys. It's the way it goes. I told you, if I need to make ends meet, I'll go back to doing what I'm doing. They obviously shut me down. You guys know what happened this past week. I'm not going to even talk about it. But shut me down, turned me off, gave me a hard time, slowed down my voice, did all kinds of stuff to try and stop me. Whatever, man. You guys have a good morning, afternoon, evening, or night. I'll be back if anything else goes down, okay? Peace out. Meet, I'll go.